welcome to West Georgia Technical College. My name is Melinda Hofius. I'm the Dean of Students, and I'll be your guide for today. This session will last about an hour long, so just bear with us. We're going to try to make this as enjoyable as possible and make sure you get all the information you need. Couple of things. One, make sure that you have something to write with, to take down notes for this session. There may be some things that we talk about that you won't need today, but you may need them another day. And then also, let's make sure that you have your phone or something handy, or you can take screenshots, because sometimes that's even easier to just take a quick screenshot at the instead of like writing everything down. There will be a couple of forms that you're going to have to fill out. You will need access to the chat. So if you haven't opened your chat yet, go ahead and open your chat and make sure you go click on the sign-in sheet. The sign-in sheet's really important. If you don't fill that out, we won't be able to remove your hold. Now, a couple of people have said, hey, I don't know my 900 number. You can either put your social in there, or you can say, I don't know it, and we should be able to find it for you. But if you don't sign in, then we don't know that you're here, and we won't be able to take off your orientation hold, and you won't be able to register for classes. So make sure that you get those things done. Okay. Let me share my screen, and then we can get started. Okay. So again, welcome to West Georgia Tech, but there's someone else that would love to welcome you. She wasn't able to be with us here in this virtual session today, but we're going to let our president of West Georgia Tech, Dr. Julie Post, welcome you as well.
Welcome to West Georgia Technical College. I'm Dr. Julie Post, blessed to be president of West Georgia Tech. I'm so glad that you've chosen to trust us to prepare you for your future. Our goal is to help you get from wherever you are to exactly where you want to be. We understand that you may be juggling the demands of family, home, and career, and adding college can be a frightening thought. We're here to help you through the process. Our #1 goal is your success. And with a 99% job placement rate, we have a proven track record of putting people to work and rewarding careers with businesses that need them. Internships, clinical rotations, and other in-field learning experiences are a vital part of the hands-on career preparation. And I hope you'll take full advantage of these, as well as the many student organizations, activities, and other extracurricular opportunities that can add so much to your college experience. You may be just beginning at West Georgia Tech, but we never want you to consider yourself finished. We're here to support you in lifelong learning wherever your career takes you. Welcome to West Georgia Tech. We're glad you're here.
Thank you all for being here. We know that you have a lot of choices, and we're glad that you chose West Georgia Tech. The second thing that we'll need you to do is you'll need to go and fill out your Special POPS form. Latoya is our person who is working the chat today. She's the manager of Student Life. So hey, Latoya, everybody. And she just put in the chat something called your Special POPS form link. This is a quick survey that will provide us with information in case you need services in the future. So click on the link and fill it out really quickly. I'll give you just a moment to do that. It's just a couple of questions, your name, your information, and then if you need any specific services while you're here. While you're filling that out, I just want to go ahead and talk to you about major changes. If you need to make a major change today, you'll need to fill this out prior to registering for your classes. So there are a couple of things you want to take into consideration. Before changing your major, make sure that you check with your financial aid and admissions, because sometimes if you change your major, then your admissions status may be impacted. And also, if you change your major, your financial aid could be impacted. If you would like to change your major, you'll need to submit a change in major form, which can be found under the forms link in the admissions webpage. If you just go to westgatech.edu, you'll find the admissions on the one of the first tabs up there. Click on that, and then go down to the admissions webpage and find the forms link. Sometimes it takes 3 business days for your major change to be processed, but we're going to do them as quickly as we can today so that you can get them registered. If you need to change your major, I would do that now. I would go ahead and fill that out as we're doing this right now. Okay. Campus location. Did you know that West Georgia Tech stretches over 7 different counties? We have several campuses where you can take classes, and some of our administrative locations. Our first one's in the Adamson and Carroll campus. Both are in Carroll County. The CEC and the Coweta campuses, both are in Coweta County. We've got one in Douglas County, the Douglas campus. Then we've got our Franklin in Greenville instructional sites. And then we have our LaGrange campus and our Murphy campus. There are very many important dates that you have to take note of every single semester. One of them is our fee payment deadline for fall 2022 is August 24th at 6 p.m. A lot of students will say, hey, do I have to pay today after I register for classes? The answer is no, you do not have to pay today, but you have to pay by that deadline. Every semester we publish important fee payment deadlines, and if you're not at a zero balance by the deadline, your classes could get dropped. We don't want to do that after you've worked so hard to get those classes. Make sure that you pay everything by 6 p.m. If you have financial aid, your financial aid will get subtracted first, and then you should have a balance. If your balance is negative, that means we owe you money. If it's positive, that means you still owe us some money. So make sure that you log into your BannerWeb account and that you know what your balance is before the 24th and that you pay it by 6 p.m. So a lot of people starting college, they may not know our grading system. We want to make sure people understand what's good standing and not good standing. Anything 2.0 or higher is good standing, but making B's or F's can negatively impact your GPA, which is your overall grade point average. A GPA below 2.0 could cause academic warning, academic probation, or academic suspension, and we want to avoid all of those things. We also have something called work ethics here at West Georgia Technical College. Your work ethics is a reflection of your behavior, attendance, and other non-academic factors that demonstrate how you might handle yourself in the workforce. So the way that we deal with these grades is that essentially each program has certain components that they'll grade this on, and it could impact your overall grade. All right, so today, the most important thing that you're going to do today is you're going to register for your classes. Taking classes is way more dynamic than it used to be. Now we have tons of different options for you. On campus is one of our options, which basically means that it's primarily in the classroom. You might have some web enhanced classes, which means that your lab or some of your stuff will have to be turned in online. You have blended classes, which is kind of like 50-50. Half will be online, maybe half will be in person, and that could be like maybe you have a Monday, Wednesday class, and they'll meet on Mondays in person, and on Wednesdays you have to do something online. So that could be a blended model. We have another one called asynchronous, which is basically all of your online stuff is going to be completely online. It does not require students to be online at a specific date or time. You'll just have to turn things in at a specific date or time. And you have to be extremely focused for these asynchronous courses because you're going to be doing a lot of this on your own. And then a newer model that we just adopted is called synchronous. It's basically a fully online class where content, activities, and interactions would occur entirely online. However, it may require you to be online at a specific date and time during the term. So say it says Mondays at 10 a.m. You wouldn't need to go to a campus. Instead, you'll have to log in at 10 a.m. and meet with your class. So be sure to check the campus and the type of class that you're registering for today when you go in and register yourself for classes. It's really important. So how do you even get on your classes? Blackboard is the system that we use. It's basically where you're going to access your syllabus, your assignments, your tests. We give your attendance grades there, and also that's where we place all of your grades each semester. I know that a lot of you are anxious and you're excited about starting class, but unfortunately, your courses will not actually be available until the first day of each semester. So if you log in right now to Blackboard, which I think is a good idea to make sure that you can have access to it, but you won't see anything there. So don't freak out after you register today and you say, my classes aren't showing up. It's because they will not show up until the first day of each semester. If you need technical assistance with your courses or a password reset, you have to submit a help desk request, and a lot of people do it all the time. So they're very quick, and usually they can get it turned around within 24 to 48 hours. Okta. So all of you guys, I hope that you're familiar with Okta, because at this point, hopefully you have signed in using Okta, but it's our single sign-on system that we use for you to log into Blackboard, eCampus classes, self-service banner web, email, and your Office 365. Your username is your full student email address, and your password is your 8-digit birth date. If you need to set it up, just go to Bannerweb and click on the guide. Kim, I saw that you had your hand up. Do you have a question? I can't even see her to unmute her. Latoya, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I just couldn't see. Kim Crockett's one of our other presenters, and I just didn't know if maybe she had a question or concern.
Okay.
If you guys have questions, please put them in the chat to Latoya. You can speak to her directly, and then she can answer your questions there instead of raising your hand. Even though these people on this video just raised their hand, that was weird at the same time. Anyway, okay, so attendance. The college strongly encourages regular and punctual class attendance, and that absences and tardies can actually impact your grade based on your inability to participate in class. So it's really important that you attend class. Individual programs may even have mandated attendance policies, so look out for those in your syllabus whenever you're starting the first week of school. Registrar. This office is located on the Murphy campus, and all of the forms for this office can be found online, but you'll contact them for your transcripts, enrollment verification, degree audits, academic records, transfer credit questions, and graduation applications. I know a lot of you may not realize this. You had to apply to get into the college, and you have to apply to get out of the college because they want to evaluate you and make sure that you actually meet the graduation requirements. So you'll need to contact them for all of those different questions. Specifically, if you have questions about transcripts today, we can get you connected with them. You can email registrar@westgatech.edu, and they can assist you with any questions you might have. They are standing by. Add and drop classes. I know that sometimes when you're starting college, sometimes we use a language that's very confusing, but the add drop period is always the first 3 days of the calendar, the first 3 calendar days of the semester, not on the first day of your class. So if your class doesn't meet until Thursdays, but you wanted to drop that class, you would still need to drop it between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the week that it begins, of the semester begins. So students can modify your schedule during that time, and you will not get any type of penalty. You know, contact your advisor in the financial aid office before dropping your class. The drop add period for each semester is always published on the website in the academic calendar, but you need to make sure that even though you won't be penalized and charged for the class, it could impact your financial aid because some of you are receiving more financial aid because of attending that class, attending a certain amount of classes. So it could change the amount of financial aid that you'll receive. Withdrawing for a class. Now that's completely different than adding and dropping. Withdrawal begins the 4th day of the semester. So if classes start on Monday, then withdrawal will start on the 4th day of the semester, which would be Thursday. Beginning the 4th day until the withdrawal date, students can withdraw from class via self-service banner web and receive a grade of a W. It does go on your record. So if you receive Pell and or a loan and withdraw from a class before completing 60% point of the term, you'll have to pay part of your Pell award or a loan back. So be careful about withdrawing from a class. Withdrawing from a class may impact your financial aid. So contact your advisor and your financial aid office before withdrawing from a class. So basically, anytime you want to make any changes in your classes, contact financial aid, contact your advisor, contact financial aid, contact your advisor, basically. Okay, holds. Any holds with, any accounts with balances that are incurred during the semester could be placed on a hold, and it could prevent you from registering, obtaining your transcripts, or viewing your account. The hold will remain until the balance is paid in full, and balances that are unpaid can be sent to a collections agency. So make sure that you are paying your balances in full and doing what you're supposed to do. All right, the next area is about resources. We have so many resources to support you while you're here as a student. Some of our student support services that we include here at West Georgia Technical College as our career services, which this is kind of over student employment, full-time employment after graduation, and we have career fairs. We've got our campus libraries, and they are open to the public. They're open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 7, and Fridays from 8 to noon, and they're located on all of our 5 main campuses. Then we've got academic and student support services. These areas are over advising and student success. So tutoring, academic advising, any of those types of things, you're going to go to the academic and student support services. They're located on each of our 5 main campuses as well, and they have an all-ring phone number. And we have something called Upswing, which is really cool. It's free online tutoring 24/7 for all subjects. So that's something really neat. A lot of students don't realize, but write down Upswing because that's something that you could certainly use during your time here at West Georgia Tech. Then we have the Department of Student Life. We have 4 main student organizations. We've got Skills USA, Student Government, National Technical Honor Society, and Phi Beta Lambda. We've also got some health and wellness programs and student activities. What a lot of people don't know is that student activities cost everyone every single semester. You've already paid for it, so come and get your free food and your free t-shirt. I mean, it's not really free, it just feels free because you've already paid for it in your student fees. So make sure that you stop by whenever we have events on campus and get involved, because the more likely you are to get involved or get connected within the first 6 to 8 weeks at a college of any sort, the more likely you're going to be retained and be able to graduate. So we want to make sure that you feel connected while you're here, and a wonderful way to do that is through the Student Life Department. Another area of student resources is our accessibility student resources and special populations. Accessibility services, that basically provides students with a documented disability with classroom accommodations. And as you can read here, there are different things that you can get accommodations for. So one of the main things is that if you were given an IEP or some type of support in your K through 12 time frame of your life, you know, that information would follow you from year to year. Well, here at West Georgia Technical College and all college campuses, you have to disclose that information to us. So you have to contact Ms. Tangi Key and let her know, hey, I have a documented disability and I would like some accommodations. So make sure you reach out to her, otherwise she won't know. And then the other area, that special populations form that we had you guys fill out, basically it just provides certain groups of students with additional services and resources, and those are listed down here. But essentially, based on that form, you can be put into the special populations category, and someone will reach out to you and say, hey, we have these extra resources for you, and we can help you in these different ways. So that's what those two are. Students' rights. If you've ever heard of the Family Educational Rights to Privacy Act, or FERPA, basically it means that student records cannot be made available to others, so no one else can see your records but you, unless you permit them to see them. So if mom or dad says, I want to see what Billy's homework says, and I want to know what his grades are, sorry, does Billy have a FERPA form on file? If he doesn't, then we won't be able to legally talk to them about your grades or anything like that. So there is a consent form that students can have filled out. You can find those in the student affairs offices on any of our 5 main campuses. But another thing about our student rights is students have a right to go to school and not be discriminated against. And so we have something called the Title IX coordinator, and that's me. My name is Melinda Hopius, Dean of Students, and this is how you would contact me if you have questions, concerns about those types of things. If you have an ADA accommodation need and you have questions about that, you can contact Carol Reed. She's our Section 504 and ADA coordinator, and she's also our Vice President of Administrative Services. And you can email her or give her a call about those concerns. Okay, nothing's official until you get your official student ID, right? Each student is required to get a student ID. You can get your ID at any of the libraries on each of our 5 main campuses. You must have proof of your registered course schedule and a photo ID to obtain your student ID. So write that down. The first week of school, I need to go to my library and go get my student ID made. Another thing that you'll need to do the first week of school is get your hang tag made. All students, faculty, and staff must have a West Georgia Tech car tag. The tags are issued to the student, so you can transfer them very easily from one car to another, and they're also good for 2 years. So the first one's free. If you have to have a lost tag replacement one, it's $5. So you need to fill out the form. It says here in your folder, but you guys don't have a folder. But we can, you can basically get the form online, or when you go to your campus, just look for your campus officer and say, hey, I need to fill out my, form for my hang tag, and they should have forms available. You will need to know your car tag. So make sure you write that down before you go in and try to get your hang tag. The reason why we have these, we don't really have like tickets or anything like that. The reason why is because if there's an issue going on with your car or it needs to be moved or something like that, in the past we weren't able to contact people. We didn't know whose cars or what. So now we have a parking permit that allows us to track the person down and say, hey, your car's on fire. Well, hopefully that won't happen. But, it has before, and we want to make sure that, students have a way to be notified. We also have something called a fitness center card. It opens our fitness centers at the Murphy and LaGrange campus, and it's issued by Student Life. The first one's free. The lost card replacement is $20. We only have fitness centers at the Murphy and LaGrange campus. You can attend classes on any campus, but still access those centers. If you fill out the agreement form on the Student Life webpage, then you'll be contacted for pickup whenever your card is ready. So if that's something you're interested in, you can also sign up for that. That's optional. Okay, West Georgia Tech Police. Our officers are on campus in uniform, and they are real police officers. They're not just security detail. Students who represent a clear and present danger to others and are disruptive to the learning process will be immediately removed from the campus and will be subject to disciplinary procedures. I know that won't happen with this group, but it could include suspension. So we want you guys to know that the police force on campus, they work closely with the police force all around the area where they patrol. And so when they're on campus, they are like regular police out in the streets of the cities where you live. We have a zero tolerance for violations of the weapons and drug policy, and weapons are restricted according to the Georgia law. So students are expected to follow that. One thing I always encourage students to do is to get out their phone and go ahead and program the police number into your phone. And I'll read it out to everybody, but this is why. Because if you're on campus and there's an emergency, if you call 911, they're going to route you to the campus police. Also, if there is an emergency, like one time we had a student who passed out during class and they needed the police officers. If they call 911, it takes longer for the campus police to get contacted, because it'll go to them and then they'll have to contact them. So I always recommend go ahead and put it in your phone. It's 1-855-579-4357. Again, that's 1-855-579-4357, okay? All right, so part of the Technical College System of Georgia's requirements is that we make sure that you are aware of your rights as students, but also, and that you know that there are police on campus to assist, but also we are required to train you in something called active shooter safety training. This can be a little bit graphic, so if you are concerned, you might want to step out, but all students are required to watch this video. It's about 10 minutes. And so I'm going to show that at this time, and then we'll share some resources that you can access if you're in a stressful situation.
This may be the most important video you will ever watch. We hope not, because for that to come true, you would have to be involved in an active shooter incident. While the likelihood of finding yourself in an active shooter incident is small, the risk is real, as these situations are happening with increasing frequency on college campuses and elsewhere. Our objective is to help put you in control of the outcome. Everything we discuss in this video can be summed up in 3 words: run, hide, fight. But first, what is an active shooter? An active shooter is someone with a gun attempting to kill people in a confined, populated area. For you, that means someone with a gun on campus who wants to kill. The purpose of this video is to give you the tools and confidence necessary to survive an active shooter attack. How will you know when an active shooter attack is underway? Know that gunshots don't always sound like they do in movies. If it sounds like a gun, or even firecrackers, consider that it may be an attack. Do not wait for confirmation. Do not seek a second opinion. If it sounds like gunfire, it's gunfire. The same goes for screaming. While screaming doesn't always indicate danger, it may be a reaction to something terrible. Keep in mind that police are minutes away, not seconds. You must fend for yourself during this time. You cannot wait for the police to arrive. You cannot wait to act. If you are inside a building, use any way out available, including emergency doors and windows. Keep closed signs don't matter now. All options are available to you. Always be aware of your surroundings. Identify your options and make a plan. By the time the attack begins, you should already know where to run. Look for exits now, so you won't have to during an attack. When the time comes to run, leave everything behind except your phone. Everything. Just thinking about what to bring is time wasted. The most valuable thing you have is you. Grab yourself and go. Get yourself to a safe place. If you are outside, run away from the attack sound. Don't stop running until you are certain you are away from danger and in a safe area. When running, try to make yourself a more difficult target. It might be slower, but it could be safer. Don't turn around to see what's happening behind you. It is unlikely that the shooter is chasing you, but either way, slowing down to look for the shooter is not a smart strategy. Once you are out of immediate danger, dial 911. Tell the dispatcher there is an active shooter and your location. Do not assume someone else has already called 911. Yours could be the one call that saves lives. If you think it's too risky to leave your current location, hide. Active shooters seek easy targets, so don't be an easy target. It's that simple. An ideal hiding place would be a room with no windows and a locking door, but that option might not be available when the time comes. Turn off lights and shut the blinds. Make it look like the room is unoccupied. Even partial darkness helps. Choose cover over concealment whenever possible. Concealment is something like an office partition. It will hide you from sight, but it will not stop a bullet. Cover is something that will do both. Heavy wooden doors, file cabinets full of paper, and objects of this type should always be your first choice. If possible, barricade doors behind you, even if locked. But try not to make unnecessary noise in the process. Be silent. Turn your phone to silent. Disappear. Shooters don't waste time exploring rooms that look unoccupied, trying to break down locked doors, or searching for hiding students. Once hidden, be prepared to stay hidden a long time. Stay calm and be patient. It may take a while, but the police will eventually find you and lead you away from danger. Again, the time to look for places to hide is not after the shooting has begun. It is now. Wherever you are on campus, be aware of your surroundings and ask yourself, where could I hide if it happens? What are my options? Does this classroom have a closet? Does the door lock? What could I use to barricade the door? If no other option is available, defend yourself. You might not think of yourself as a fighter, but others just like you have surprised themselves with how effective they can be when fighting back was the best option for survival. The attacker has at least one weapon, and you do too. Look around. Chairs, textbooks, backpacks, rocks, heads. You have more options than you probably thought. One readily available weapon is a fire extinguisher. You will find them in nearly every hallway. You also have surprise on your side. The attacker is not expecting armed resistance until police arrive. This is your advantage. When you fight back, your goal is to overwhelm the attacker and minimize their ability to use weapons effectively by limiting their vision or physically disabling them. And with others nearby, weakening the attacker will give them confidence to join the fight. Lastly, when you fight back, don't stop too soon. Fight until the threat is over. The number one job of the police is to stop the attack. This means they are totally focused on neutralizing the shooter. Keep in mind that active shooters look like anyone else, even students like you. So when you exit a building, raise your hand to show the police that you aren't holding any weapons. You don't want to be mistaken for the attacker. Remember, just as you are afraid, the police are on edge too. They need to be ready to take immediate and decisive action. So your behavior is critical. Hands in the air. Avoid sudden movements. Obey police directions. The police will shout orders. They don't have time for courtesy. They must act quickly and forcefully. Do what they say for everyone's benefit. Like we said, the police are there to stop the attack. Once that job is done, they will turn to helping. Let's talk about helping others. This may be the most difficult decision of your life, but the best thing that you can do may be just to run and get help. Remember, most active shooter incidents begin unexpectedly and end quickly. Help is on the way. If you can remember run, hide, fight, you have the most important knowledge needed to survive an active shooter attack. Familiarize yourself with your environment. Plan ahead. If you are prepared, you will be able to run, hide, and fight without hesitation and with confidence. Please share this video, not only with your fellow students, but with family and friends. The active shooter threat is not limited to your campus or to any public place for that matter. This could be the most important video you ever share. Thank you for watching.
So I know that that is kind of a sad thing that you have to watch these days during orientation, but it's important for us to make sure that you are all educated about, you know, your right to the student and making sure that you know what to do in an emergency situation. Which this kind of brings us to some important things that students need to know about. One of them is confidential reporting. We have something called night care here. If you notice distressing behaviors on campus or online, we encourage all of our students to say something, and there are lots of different ways that you can report them. Your report is simple, it's safe, and it's confidential. We, as a night care group, we take the information and we reach out to those students, we assist them, and this could be anything from, hey, the student's kind of acting funny, she said that she wanted to kill herself, to, hey, the student's being a little bit violent and I don't think that anybody knew about it, or even, hey, this student that I don't know that well but is always in class didn't show up for the past 3 or 4 days and I think something might be wrong. So anything that you even find a little bit weird, you can contact Night Care and report it, and we are there to assist and reach out to those students. We also have something called our Golden, which is our counseling services. Basically, all students can reach out to the counseling program that we have with Tanner. You can call anytime, 24/7, to speak confidentially with the counselor, and they now can meet in person, virtual, or they can meet over the phone with you. If you call after hours and you can't get anyone, they'll take your name down, and it's not an emergency. If it's an emergency, they'll have a counselor call you back in the middle of the night. But if it's not an emergency, they'll take your information down and someone will call you when the office opens at regular hours. Okay, the next thing that we're going to talk about is everybody's favorite thing, financial aid. How are you going to pay for college classes? So there are a couple of things that we suggest. There are 6 steps specifically. The first step is applying for financial aid, which starts with your free application for federal student aid called the FAFSA. If you haven't filled this out, we recommend you fill it out ASAP, as soon as possible. You complete your FAFSA online at FAFSA.gov. If you go anywhere else, if it asks for money for you to fill out this form, do not pay it. It is a fake site. Go to FAFSA.gov. That's the only place you want to go in order to fill out your free application for federal student aid. Our school code is 010487, and the campus is Waco. You might want to write that down if you haven't already filled out your application for financial aid. I have had a lot of students tell me over the years, oh, there's no way I'm going to get anything. I recommend fill it out anyways. You never know. My husband thought he wasn't going to get anything. He's like, oh, I'm an old student returning to college. And that wasn't true. In his case, he almost got all of his classes paid for, and he didn't even know it. Had he not filled it out, he would have never known. So you can call them on their financial aid hotline. This will go to all the campuses. It's this 1855 number. I would write that down if I were you. But our step 1 is complete your FAFSA. We can't do anything until you complete your FAFSA. Then if you're selected for verification, which we'll explain in just a minute, complete that, review your available financial aid in your banner web, purchase your books, and then if you have money left over, you'll get a refund. And then number 6, your process is basically complete. The verification process. Applicants can be selected for review by the Department of Education. That means that we need a little bit more information from you. A lot of students are like, well, why did I get selected for this verification? Ugh, I'm so frustrated. Well, it's not West Georgia Technical College, it's the Department of Education. About 33% of applicants are chosen. So about a third of you lucky people on this call will probably get chosen for verification. If you're chosen and additional documents are required, you can review that in your self-service banner web, but you'll want to get it filled out as soon as possible because you will not be able to get your financial aid released to your account until this process is complete. So don't say, oh, I'm all done, did my FAFSA. You have to keep checking back and making sure that your self-service banner web isn't requiring more of you, okay? Financial aid. So a lot of students are like, I'm not really sure what that means. We offer financial aid through the Georgia Student Finance Authority and Federal Student Aid. And that comes in the form of HOPE, and that could be scholarships or HOPE grants. And we also have Federal Work Study Program, which basically is like earn as you work, like, hey, you can get a job on campus. And then we have student loans. Student loans are the only form of financial aid that has to be repaid with interest. So definitely use them as a last resort. They're available to you. And other sources of financial aid support would be our Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. That's available to students who are seeking occupational skills in order to obtain employment or advance within their current employer. So look into WIOA, something very unique to technical colleges. and at West Georgia Tech, we offer this. So it actually can help cover expenses not covered by other types of financial aid, including like childcare and transportation. So, and then the other thing that we have available to us, which we're very lucky to have, are foundation scholarships. These are scholarships that are specific to West Georgia Technical College, and you can apply online prior to each semester. So if this is your first semester in college, you're saying, oh man, I didn't get to apply for that. Most first semester people are not eligible to apply. However, make sure you look out for the application in the middle of this next semester in fall so you can fill it out for the spring. You have no idea how many people are never filling out these scholarships and they're not getting the money. So you want to be the one to fill out those scholarships. And some of them are like $500 for that one semester. Some might be $1,000. Some might be just book money. You never know. It just depends on what they have available. Our school is considered a veteran-friendly school, and we have an office called the Veterans Affairs that's dedicated to assisting all of our veterans achieve their educational and career goals. They can talk to them about different benefits available to them, and we have benefits available under Chapter 33, Chapter 30, Chapter 1606, Chapter 35, and 31. So if you fall into any of those categories, we encourage you to reach out to the Veterans Affairs Office. It's located on our Carroll campus, but you can go and turn in documentation and stuff to any of our campuses. If you are a veteran, I would definitely write down these phone numbers or go to westgatech.edu/FA/veterans in order to check out what kind of resources are available to you. We also have something called a Green Zone group. On all of our campuses, there are Green Zone team members. Essentially, that means they're trained to work specifically with military people to assist them in getting acclimated to the college campus. So check that out. Okay, so some helpful financial aid tips. First of all, financial aid may not cover all tuition and fees, so you have to be aware of that. Submit your paperwork by priority deadlines. Applications submitted after the priority deadline will be processed on a first-come, first-served basis. Our fall deadline was June 16th. That doesn't mean if you fill out your FAFSA today that you're not going to get any financial aid. It just means that it may be delayed. So look every single semester. You have to make sure that your stuff is filled out. So next year, you fill it out once a year, but every single semester, if you're starting new, there is a priority deadline and you want to look out for those. Attend your classes. If the federal government requires that students attend class to receive aid, so it's checked every semester. So if you're not attending classes, you can get your financial aid dropped from your account. Maintain satisfactory academic progress. You'll want to have a 2.0 and at least pass 66.6% of your classes. Not meeting SAP could cause you to lose your financial aid eligibility. What does it mean, 66.6% completion rate? Essentially, that means you have to stay in and get a 2.0 GPA or better for all of your classes for at least 66% of all your classes, okay? So that means if you're taking 4 classes and you drop one, then you're still in 75% of your classes, but if you drop another one or you fail it, you could be put on, your completion rate is not where it needs to be. So be very careful about dropping, withdrawing, and also, failing your classes. Be careful when dropping, withdrawing, like I just said, and you may owe a balance if you drop or withdraw from a class. So you have to contact your financial aid department to make sure that you're not in some type of violation or have to pay something back. Be aware of outstanding balances. Award information can be viewed in your student account on a self-service banner web, and make sure that you understand and know what you owe and what you have left. So there's something called COVID-19 relief. It's called the HEERF, or the HERF 1, 2, or 3, aka the CARES funds. Some of you may have heard about this. Additional funds are available to assist students who have been adversely affected by COVID. You just have to fill out this form online. You can go to the financial aid webpage for that, and also they're sending it out to your student email address. Basically, it just says, hey, how have you been affected by COVID? If you can fill that out, there may be some funds available to you. Professional judgment is something else that you can apply for. Students or families that are facing significant loss of income based on what they've already filled out for their taxes, et cetera, they can request professional judgment, which might mean, hey, I need additional support. But you'll have to contact the financial aid office for that information as well. All right, so financial aid department, that's where you're going to receive the aid. The business office is where you're going to pay your money to go to school, okay? So the business office, they're over receiving your payment for tuition and fees. Total payment due each term consists of both tuition and mandatory fees. So you can't say, hey, can I just pay my tuition? No, you got to pay both. You got to pay the fees and the tuition. Fees may be covered through the Pell funds, outside scholarships, third-party funds, etc. All charges must be paid by the fee payment deadline. Remember I talked about that? This semester is August 24th at 6 p.m. Make sure that you get all of your stuff paid by then. Students with that outstanding balance will not be permitted to register for classes the following semester. Remember, we talked about holds, and hold would be put on your account if you have a balance for some reason. All students registering during late registration will be charged $45 late registration fee. So next semester, if you say, oh, I'm going to wait to register until the first 3 days of class, that's during late registration period. You don't want to do that. Otherwise, you could get a $45 late registration fee. So look out for that. I would write that one down. Don't get $45 late registration fee. So there's something that you can do if you were to get a late registration fee. We want you to know that if you authorize your financial aid in your self-service banner web, then you'll be able to have your financial aid pay for outstanding balances and fees. If you have enough financial aid to cover the fee, but your authorization is not done, your classes will be dropped. So please complete this in self-service banner web today if you can. Essentially, you just go into self-service, click on student services and then financial aid, and then click on financial aid student authorization. I would take a little picture of this or write this down because you'll want to take the time to do this step today if this is something you're interested in. Can't force you guys to do it, but it's a very smart practice. Okay, financial aid credits and refunds. So what does this all mean? Credits are the remainder of the financial aid award once tuition and fees are deducted. So you'll get your bill and it'll say $1,000, let's say that. And let's say you got $1,200 money in financial aid. So it will deduct your financial aid, so you owe $1,000, then you should have $200 left over. That's a credit. Credits will be transferred to the bookstore for a limited time for book purchases, okay? If books are not purchased during the window of time that credits are available, books and access codes will need to be purchased with personal funds. So once that time period's over, then they will actually move that money back out of the bookstore and they'll issue a refund if any is owed to you. A financial aid refund is the remaining financial aid credit once tuition, fees, and book costs have been deducted. So say I have my $1,200, classes and fees were $1,000, so I have $200 sent over to the bookstore. At the bookstore, I decide I'm going to buy like an $80 book. Well, then $120 is coming back to me. And the financial aid refunds are issued by the business office. So if you call financial aid department and you say, well, where's my refund? They're going to say, you need to contact the business office, okay? A note about the bookstores. We have locations on all 5 main campuses. Murphy and LaGrange are temporarily closed at this moment, but they will be open back up soon. Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and they're closed on Fridays. You can also go online to our bookstore and find out what your books are, and you can purchase them there. Financial aid will begin in the bookstores August 8th through August 22nd. So you'll have all that time to use your credits. One other cool thing that you guys need to know is that a lot of students are saying, hey man, I need a laptop. We now offer laptops in the bookstore. So if you would like to purchase a laptop from the bookstore, if they're available, That's one thing I like to let students know, because your financial aid can purchase that laptop for you if you have enough available. Students who apply for financial aid after the financial aid priority deadline may not have aid credited to their accounts or a bookstore credit at the time that classes begin. So make sure you look online and that you know what you have available to you. Now, how am I going to get my refund? That's another question. Well, there's something called Bank Mobile. Look for the green envelope. It's going to be sent to your house. West Georgia Tech uses Bank Mobile to distribute financial aid and refunds and refunds of tuition and fees for those students who withdraw from classes during drop-out period, things like that. Refunds are issued by the business office and will begin disbursement no later than the 28th day of the term, the 28th day of the term. So make sure you know that. So if someone says, okay, I have $120 coming to me, remember we made up our fake scenario, when am I getting my money? It'll be on the 28th day of the term. So how do I get my money? Essentially, there are a couple of ways that you can select to get your money. You look for the green envelope. Then when it gets to your house, you'll go to refundselection.com and you'll enter your personal code that's in that green envelope, okay? Then you'll select how you want to receive your money. You can, one, deposit it to your Vibe account and receive the refund the same business day as funds are released by Bank Mobile, or you can deposit to another account. So you can put in your account information and the refund will be sent 2 to 3 business days. My husband and I, we always just used to get our money sent straight into our personal bank account. It was a lot easier that way. But those fees, and you can use that stuff, I mean, those funds you can use for gas for class. You can use it for gas to get back and forth to class. You can use it to buy your books, buy supplies, you know, lunch money for yourself, however you feel like you need to support yourself as a student with your refund money. I hope that this makes sense. Look for the green envelope. That's the most important thing. In that envelope, you'll have all these instructions as well. You don't have to memorize them right now, but make sure that you fill out that green envelope so you can get your refund in a timely fashion. Pay in person. Students can pay fees on campus at the cashier window. You can pay online with check, credit, or debit, or you can do something called a Nelnet payment plan. It allows for more flexible payment options. You have to log in and pay a fee, essentially, to be able to set up those monthly payments, and you'll have to check the deadlines in the brochures that are available, but this is a really, really great option for students who are like, oh man, I owe a lot and I need to like pay this soon, you know, and I don't have a lot of financial aid, so I need to pay by the deadline. Nelnet payment plan is a really good option for them. Okay, so if you have questions, do not hesitate to contact faculty, staff, or faculty or staff with questions. Sorry, no, you might want to contact your other students, but you're going to get a better answer from the faculty and staff. But you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. This is a really good place for you guys to find out if we're closed, if we're open, if there's weather questions, you know, that kind of stuff. So the next part of our session is actually going to be with Ms. Kim Crockett. Let me stop sharing my screen. And she is going to teach you guys and walk you through how to register for your classes. So again, get out your pen and your paper. Make sure that you give yourself time to write out some of these important things that she's talking about. Kim, are you there? I don't know if you can unmute yourself. LaToya, we might have to unmute her.
Yeah, I have to find her.
Kim, will you turn on your camera? Then we'll be able to find you easier. I see her. All right, Kim. LaToya, I'm trying to computer, but it's not working.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna
have-
hand it over to you now.
All right, hold on just a second. Okay. What I'm going to do is talk to you about actually registering for classes. I'm sharing my screen, and you should be able to see it. It says, what is self-serve, Banner Web, and how do I register for class? So are you able to see it? If not, raise your hand, and I'll just go through this. I'm going to show you some things about the website, too. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the West Georgia Tech website. And if you want to go ahead and pull up the website, too, that'd be a great idea. Okay. Registration. Students are responsible for registering themselves for classes using the self-service Banner Web every semester. What is self-service Banner Web? It is the portal that we use for students to look at access financial aid records or transcripts or final grades or financial aid awards or any kind of class schedule. Students use this portal to register themselves for classes, and then you can review your courses after you've registered. What do I need in order to register for classes? Okay. There might be some kind of hold on your account, so you need to make sure there's not a hold on your account. Before you attended this orientation, you did see a hold because it was a new student orientation hold. They're working right now feverishly trying to get those holds off, so hopefully by the end of this session, that hold will be removed. There's different kinds of holds, like advisor holds or admission holds or business office holds. So you want to be sure that there is no hold on your account. Now, how do I know which classes to choose? So now this is where we're going to go on the website. We're going to look for this thing called a program completion checklist. Okay? You can see my screen. It's the West Georgia Tech website. So I'm going to scroll down just a little. I'm going to choose academics, and then I'm going to choose student advising, and I'm click, and then I'm going to go down just a tad and hit program completion checklist. These are all the checklists for every program that we have. Okay, so I'm going to pretend, let's say I'm a criminal justice technology degree student. So I would click criminal justice technology degree, and there's my sheet. Okay, so all this website, it has everything that you might need. And if I'm a criminal justice student, it gives me suggested classes. Okay, your degree student, you may have some room to maybe take English this semester, maybe take math next semester. There may be a little wiggle room. A lot with our diploma students, they have to be taken in order. Criminal justice does not need. You can look and see the prerequisites are here. There's not any. There is a prerequisite for this art class, which is English 1101. But most of the degree programs is just program admission. I would advise you, though, to only start with, if you're in a degree, just start with the 1000 level classes, because as you move up through the class numbers, the harder the class gets. All right, I'm going to go close this one out. Now, if you are a healthcare student, okay, you don't look at this sheet. I want to be very specific. Healthcare students do not follow these checklists. I'm going to give you a tip. You follow the competitive selection process. These are your sheets. These are for any healthcare programs like associate degree in nursing, clinical lab technology, dental hygiene, medical assistant, practical nursing, radiology, and surgical tech. These will be your advising plan. So then I will click on, let's pretend like I'm going to do practical nursing. There's your sheet, okay? So yours is a little different. If you're in any kind of healthcare program, it's competitive selection, and you can choose from these classes here. There's also very important deadlines on these sheets, so it's imperative if you're in a healthcare program, you read about the deadlines and the competitive selection requirements. We also strongly encourage, if you are a healthcare student, you come to campus and speak to an advisor, because there's a lot of other things that you may need such as like a TEAS test or a PSP test. So if you're a healthcare student, please come by and see an academic advisor. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the presentation. Where is it at? Hold on. There it is. Okay, so those are the program completion checklists. Okay, so now we're going to look at the steps for registration. And here's what I was talking about. Competitive healthcare programs like registered nursing, clinical labs, you use the second sheet, the competitive selection checklist. Okay. All right, so how do I find my program checklist? This is just exactly what I did. Click academics, click on student advising, click on the program checklist, and once the page is open, you can find the checklist. So you should have some kind of documents like this. You should have an admissions letter on your email, and you should also have your sequencing sheet, your program sheet. Okay, so you got those two documents. All right, so now we're going to register. This is where you would click back to your website, click Banner Web, and click Banner Web Login. Then you log in to your OKTA account. Okay, so you put in your email address and then your password. So your email address is whatever email address the school gave you, and then your password is your 8-digit birthday, and then you click sign in. If you do not know your password or your user, you can click right here to get help. And this is what your banner looks like. So the first thing we've got to do, Melinda talked a little bit about this, about authorizing your financial aid. If you'll click on Student Services and Financial Aid, and then click on Financial Aid Authorization, and then click Authorize, and then click CARES Act Authorization, and then Authorize. Now, CARES Act is part of that money that she was talking about that may be dispersed due to COVID. At this time, we're not really sure what that amount is going to be, or if there even is going to be an amount. But go ahead and authorize it just in case, because it may, it may help have, a few dollars to help pay tuition. But make sure you do authorize your financial aid, because you only have to do it once the whole time that you're here. And this is what I was talking about. I'll say authorize Pell Grant, and then once it's done, then you can see all the authorizations that you've completed. Okay, so this is the second step. Now it's time to register. Now we're going to start looking for classes, okay? So go back to the very top and click Student Services and Financial Aid, and then click Registration. Then click on Look Up Classes to Add. It's going to ask you for what term, and you choose Fall of 2022. And then hit Submit. Now it's going to give you the subjects. Okay, so if I was looking for like medical terminology is under Allied Health Systems or Allied Health Science. If I'm looking for English is going to be under E for English. Math is going to be under M for Math. If I'm a nursing student, but I haven't taken my prerequisites, I'm not going to look for registered nursing. I'm going to look for English or Math or Biology, because those prereqs got to be done first, okay? If you have any questions about looking for subjects, we can help you there. So make sure you click the subject. For example, this one's English, and then English, all the Englishes are going to pop up. We're looking for English 1010. We click View Sections, and then we'll see what's open. Now, pay really close attention. If it's got a C, that means the class is already closed. That means there's no seats available. If it's got a checkbox, that means it's open. These are ones that are open. Also, pay very close attention to other information on there, which is like if it's online totally, or if it's asynchronous, or if it's on campus. So pay attention, like this one is at LaGrange. If I'm living in Carrollton, let me look for classes in Carrollton, not at LaGrange campus. So pay attention to if the class is open and the location of the class. And this is what I was talking about. Some classes are online, some classes are in the classroom, some classes, we've got all kinds of different ways to take classes now, so pay attention with the location. Now, helpful hint number 2, if you're taking, some classes have co-requisites like biology and biology lab. You've got to register for both classes at the same time. So in this situation, if you're looking for biology, you would click the course and also click the lab and then register. If you don't click both, it's going to give you a registration error. So that's it. It's really easy. It's 1, 2, 3. You select the class, you click register, and then you can verify that you're web registered. You can also view your schedule. So if you want to hit return to the menu or hit student services and financial aid, then click on view detailed schedule, and that's what your schedule is, and you can print it. And that's pretty much everything. Once you've registered for classes, you must get your books. Melinda was very adamant about, you may have some financial aid funds. You only have a certain amount of time in the bookstore to use those funds. If you have any questions, you can take your schedule to the bookstore, and they'll be able to tell you if there's financial aid money there to purchase the book. You cannot wait for refunds before you purchase books. You must make sure you get your books and get them within the first few days of class. Many of the books will say OER. OER is called open resources. So that means you don't have to purchase a book. If you go to the bookstore and show them your schedule, they will be able to tell you if you need a book or not. A lot of the book purchases is not really a book in your hand. It might be an access code, okay? So they will give you the access code or give you some information about getting an access code. So it's really, really important to make sure you purchase your book. Also, make sure you pay your bill. Your financial aid award status will probably be updated after you register today. So give it a couple of days for your financial aid to be put on your account. If you have any questions, you can email advising@westpatech.edu using your student email account, and we'll be glad to answer your questions. Or come by the campus. We do have advisors available on each campus Monday through Thursday. And some campuses are open also on Fridays. So if you want to, just sit down with one of us, that's okay. All you got to do is send an email, and we'll be glad to help. If you have questions about the orientation, you can also send them